Hi, welcome to this part of my review featuring the Alien RPG core rulebook. If you haven't seen the other parts of my review featuring this tabletop RPG based on the popular horror sci-fi franchise, please check out the playlist in the description below. This time we are going to continue with the actions that you can take during starship combat. You have 4 phases: the sensor phase, the pilot phase including movement, the gunner phase, and the engineer phase. When it comes to the sensor operation actions, in the sensor phase, the sensor operator of each ship can carry out various actions such as target lock. To lock your sensors onto an enemy ship, make a comtech roll, modified by range, the signature rating of the enemy, and other factors. If you succeed, your sensors lock onto the ship, and you can now target it with your armaments in this turn. You can also go dark. As a reactive action, if an enemy ship tries to target lock you in this turn, you can try to break the lock and slip away by reducing your infrared and electronic emissions, or exploiting a sensor blind spot such as a nearby star. There's also the power up sensors action. If your sensors are powered down, it takes 1 turn to power them back up again. No roll is required. When it comes to the pilot actions, in the pilot phase, the pilot of each ship first performs one of the actions listed in this section. Then, after all pilot actions are resolved, all ships move a number of zones equal to their current approach velocity towards the enemy ship or ships, or away from them if you have already passed each other. You have the accelerate action. You roll for piloting, modified by the thrusters rating on your ship. You also have decelerate. In this case, you also roll for piloting, modified by the thrusters rating of your ship. You also have the maneuver action. Make an opposed piloting roll against the pilot of an enemy ship, modified by the thrusters rating of your ship. You also have ram. This action can only be attempted if the target ship is at contact range, that is the same zone, at the start of the turn, before movement. You make an opposed piloting roll against the pilot of an enemy ship, modified by the thrusters rating of your ship. Then you have duck. This action can only be attempted if the target ship is at contact range, the same zone, and if both ships have the same approach velocity. It also requires a docking station module. Make an opposed piloting roll against the pilot of an enemy ship, modified by the thrusters rating of your ship. So as you can see, the actions are almost completely similar. It's very easy to handle them, very streamlined when it comes to playing a fast combat. Now, when it comes to the gunner actions, in the gunner phase, 1 gunner of each ship can perform one of the actions in this section, assuming your ship is fitted with 1 or more of the armaments. Only 1 weapon may be launched in a turn. Even if you have several weapons and gunners on your ship, you have the fire weapon action. You can only attack an enemy which you have target locked. You roll for ranged combat, modified by the bonus rating of the weapon you use and the range to the target. You also have launch countermeasures. This reactive action is used to launch defensive measures such as sensor decoys and sensor drones. If any offensive weapons are fired at your ship in this turn from short range or more, your gunner rolls ranged combat, modified by the bonus rating of the countermeasure. When it comes to the engineer actions, in the engineer phase, an engineer on each ship can perform one of the actions in this section. Only 1 action may be chosen, no matter how large the crew is. Others can help the roll, however, up to a maximum modification of +3. You have emergency repairs. A minor or major component damage is hastily repaired. Roll for heavy machinery or comtech, or both, as indicated by the specific situation. Then you have power up engine. If your ship's engines have been powered down to decrease your signature rating, it takes 2 turns, 2 successive actions by the engineer to bring them back online. Concerning the open airlock action, it can only be performed if your pilot has successfully completed the dock action. Roll for heavy machinery. If successful, you breach the enemy ship, and your crew can then board it. There is also reactor overload. It requires a heavy machinery roll. If successful, the reactor will overload and explode at the end of the following turn, destroying the ship and killing everyone on board. When it comes to ship armor, the armor of a spaceship works exactly like body armor in ground combat. If your ship takes a hit, roll a number of dice equal to its armor rating. Concerning hull damage, spaceships take damage just like people, but the scale is different. When a ship has suffered damage equal to or in excess of its hull rating, it is disabled. This means that its engines and all weapon systems fail, and the entire ship suffers explosive decompression. Time to get to the escape pods, or at least into a compression suit. Concerning component damage, structural hull damage is not the only danger to a spaceship. Specific components and modules can also be damaged by each single attack, with effects ranging from the annoying to the catastrophic. But don't worry, with the appropriate rolls and expertise, you can repair the hull, the components, you can make emergency repairs, etc. And when it comes to the actions themselves, there are many variables and random events even. For example, you have a space combat panic roll, the consequences of component damage, and the many factors and variables when it comes to targeting your enemy, opening fire, etc. And this concludes this part of the review. In the next part we are going to talk about the Game Master section, or rather the Game Mother section. Space combat in this role-playing game is easy enough to handle because of the similarities between the different roles. It is mostly a tactical and strategic affair with streamlined mechanics. It's not going to be extremely simple, but once you get the hang of it, the different checks feel somewhat the same. Thank you for watching this part of the review, and thank you for your likes and your comments. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know. And thank you so much to those of you that are going the extra mile to support the channel. If anyone else wishes to further support the channel, the information on how to do that will be in the description below. And remember, it is better to roleplay and fail in character than not to roleplay and fail as a player. Once again, thank you, and see you later.